Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about the importance of being with the right man and why being with the wrong man will siphon your beauty. And I'm going to make reference to Rihanna and ASAP Rocky. I previously made a video about them. I will tag it in the cards above for you to review that. But I think that unfortunately, Rihanna is a prime example of the point that I've been trying to drive home. And this video is not even for those who detract and are still going to tell you that money doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Because I feel like that's just basic, elementary level ways of thinking that those who get it. And those who understand, like, it doesn't need clarification. But beyond that, when you are with someone who you are not compatible with, it is going to show up in your beauty and it's going to siphon your energy and make you look like a shell of yourself. Okay. And I'll explain why this happens later. But if you look at photos of Rihanna before and after, you can see a stark difference to the point that it doesn't even look like her. And before you say, oh, well, that's not fair, like those photos are of Rihanna when she was in her late teens and early 20s, and now she's like, what, 38, 39? You can't make that comparison. I'm not making that comparison, okay? We all know that Rihanna got older, just like Beyonce, but you can look at these photos and tell that this is not age-related changes. These are not even pregnancy or childbirth or afterbirth changes. Rihanna looks stressed. She looks like she is trying to hold on to something and it's making her look bloated. And I'm not even saying this to be nasty and mean. I'm saying this to analyze something that many people like to dance around and not admit to because we don't want to be labeled as being rude or mean or fatphobic when this is a very, very real issue that leads to very, very real consequences for many Black women and other women who can relate. But because Rihanna is a Black woman and my channel is primarily for Black women, I'm going to make that very, very clear distinction. Okay, many Black women look like Rihanna because they go through the same things that she is currently going through, and that is being attached to a man who takes away from you and who does not like you. Okay, when it doesn't, and it becomes more complex when you are a highly successful woman, usually in relationships. It's the man who should be highly successful and the woman is there to help cultivate what he's already built. But when you are in a role reversal situation where you are playing the masculine and you are genetically and hormonally not equipped to play that role, it then shows up as you being stressed and overworked and burdened, and you start to get what I call and what others call cortisol face, where your face is puffy, moon shaped, your eyes look a little bit glossy, and you just look like you're carrying a lot of weight that's not even necessarily 100% fat, but is hormone related bloating and inflammation. Okay. If you look at Rihanna, then like she looked like she was whole, and Rihanna's not new to stress. Let me make that clear. Like stress is not necessarily a bad thing. It's something that we all go through. It's a normal part of life. But when you're constantly dealing with fight, flight, or fawn that is driven by cortisol, that means that your adrenal glands are not getting an opportunity to rest because it's constantly looking for the next situation and the next fire to put out. And that is what leads to your face just looking bloated. When you are an international superstar who spends months at a time on the road, living out of a suitcase, living out of a tour bus, putting in countless hours to deliver an album because your fans are waiting, and then to move on to build a multi-million-dollar company that then makes you a billionaire, you're always on the go and you're always stressed. But Rihanna did not look like how she looks now until like stress and all, high demand and all, and even her having to deal with Jay-Z. Okay, working with Jay-Z was no walk in the park. Rihanna previously shared that we all know the story of what she said about Jay-Z. I don't want to piss off YouTube, so I'm not going to say it. But we've all heard the story about what Jay-Z said to Rihanna regarding at the beginning of her career. Okay. So she's not new to stress. She's not new to a high demand lifestyle. But it looks like she is new to dealing with a man who does nothing for you, but takes away from you. And yes, I've heard reports that ASAP Rocky's the one who raises the kids primarily. He's the one who pays the bills, blah, blah, blah. Great. That's what you're supposed to do as a man. Take care of your family, provide, protect, lead, whatever. But when you are with a man who is clearly not as accomplished as you and who is clearly automatically assuming the position of the feminine because you outshine him in terms of accomplishments, then that man is going to make you pay. And I've said that to you before. At the beginning, he may benefit. He may support you and be like, that's great, babe. Like, wow, like, I'm so proud of you. But deep down inside, he's going to look at himself. And especially if other people are making comments and saying, wow, like, maybe you should ask your woman to help you level up in your career because when was the last time you put out an album? Wow, your girl is really killing it. And you kind of just plateaued. And now you're playing the housewife and she's out here making the moves. Don't you think that's going to take a hit to his ego? As much as he loves his kids, that's great. He should. Like, that's the bare minimum. And as much as he may appear to be the loving, supportive, I'm just doting on my woman. And I'm also benefiting from the lifestyle that she gives me, the connections, whether I make use of the connections or not. And the lifestyle that she, as a billionaire, has access to that I will never have access to, even though I have my millions. I'm going to resent you because my genetic making of being a provider and a protector and a leader is being suppressed because I chose to be in this position instead of focusing on my career and leveling up, or simply choosing to be paired with a woman who's not as successful as Rihanna. I'm going to find a way to punish you for being the man that I couldn't be. And so recently we heard the reports of Rihanna's house being targeted by a viewer. I hate talking on YouTube because you sound like ridiculous. You having to use these alternative words, but you know what I mean. Only to find out that apparently she was a mistress, or she knew, like, they know, ASAP Rocky and her know each other. And I think she wanted ASAP Rocky to leave Rihanna. And obviously he's not going to leave because of the lifestyle. Same situation like with Todd and Candy, where he's going to stick around for as long as it benefits him until he can't get anything more out of the situation. And so while he's taken advantage of the lifestyle that you offer him, he's also going to turn around and spite you. He's going to turn around and try to find a way to feel like a man again. Because even the brokest man, okay, the man who doesn't have much to offer, a lot of times, like, you'll find these guys, like, you'll think, like, okay, which is why, again, just as an aside, when men say, oh, we want a woman who brings something to the table, no, they don't. Because when you bring too much to the table, and that too much is subjective because, these men who say things like this are insecure, and you having a bachelor's degree and them just having a high school diploma may be seen as too much to bring to the table. But the moment that they feel emasculated by you, even though they put themselves in that position and you do everything to try to make them feel like a man, including allowing them to take charge when you know that they can't, they will then turn around and cheat on you with a woman who has less. Cheat on you with a woman who only has a high school diploma, or who has a lash business that's failing, or who's not as attractive to you, but she's constantly throwing herself at him to make him feel like he's wanted and desired. Okay, which is why I always tell women, either find a man who is above you where you can learn from him. He'll naturally be in that position of leader, provider, protector. Or if you can't find that, be okay with being alone and just be successful on your own. Because the moment that you give a guy who's not as successful than you a chance, he's going to resent you. And this, it's not even just about money, okay? Because you can be with a man who makes more money than you, but if he is not as ambitious, if he doesn't have as much drive, um, you simply wanting to network when he doesn't have the desire to do so, it's going to turn into, oh, you just want to go there and meet other men. Oh, you just want to go there and flirt and find a new boyfriend. Or if you have a side hustle, you're working your little 9 to 5 job, and, you want to have multiple streams of income so you can have a comfortable life. It's like, oh, you're doing too much. Don't do all that. That's not necessary. But then he will never help you financially to have a comfortable life so that you don't have to be doing all that. Okay. If he tries to diminish you in any way, you need to get rid of that man ASAP. They will push your buttons, and then when they see that you are triggered or annoyed or whatever, they will backpedal. And as you saw in those videos before, he very intentionally was flirting with that woman to make Rihanna feel less than. Rihanna, again, looks different in how she looks, and he is flirting with women that he is clearly more attracted to than her. And then when you saw in the van clip, she confronted him, he got upset when she confronted him. She looks calm in the situation, he looks flustered, but you know that's eating her up because she wasn't even able to enjoy the red carpet interaction. When the reporter asked her, "Are you having a good time?" Instead of her engaging and saying, "Yeah, I'm happy to like see the awards and whatever," she just very snootily was like, "Are you?" When you are with someone who makes you feel insecure as a woman and he's intent, I'm not even talking about you have some issues that you got to work through and that man hasn't done anything to you. I'm talking about he is very intentionally going out of his way to make you feel like you have something to worry about, to make you feel like, oh, he's going to cheat again. And don't get it twisted. ASAP Rocky has cheated on Rihanna and she knows it, which is why she's not able to be on the red carpet and focus on herself fully. She's having to watch out of the corner of her eye her man flirting with another woman to make her feel like she's less than. If you are with someone who is not in the peak of his career, and I keep talking about money, these are not rules that I make, these are rules that men have made, okay? To men are the ones who created patriarchy, men are the ones who created capitalism, and it's not your fault as a woman that you managed to crack the code and not just survive in these patriarchal capitalist societies, but you managed to thrive and become a billionaire, especially as a black woman. Like, it's not your fault that he failed to crack the code that was built by men for men. And this is a common situation where a lot of black men, they do not compete with white men and other races of men, and so they try to gaslight you in multiple different ways and move the goalposts by saying things like, well, what do you bring to the table, or you need to be feminine, fit, and friendly. And in a lot of cases, that's you pay the bills and I get to claim the title of being this macho bravado man, um, without having to carry the responsibilities of being a macho bravado man. And this is an experience that a lot of women across multiple races are experiencing, are now starting to speak up against in their experience in dating black men. But instead of them allowing black men to stress them the fuck out, they're walking away and saying, nope, not for me. It sounds like my daddy was right. I'm going to go back and date men who look like me. Black women, because we have this feeling of this undying loyalty, we sit back and we play these games. We say, okay, look, I'm educated, I have a good job, so I bring that to the table, but I'm also gonna like assume my position and be feminine, fit, and friendly, and shut the hell up, and let you be the man, and let you run things, even though you haven't really done much to prove that you deserve that title because society has beaten you down and I need to stand beside my black king. But then it turns into, and many of you have family members in your family who are like this, it turns into health problems, right? When you have chronic elevated stress, chronic elevated cortisol levels, not only do you look puffy and bloated and inflamed, but unfortunately, it leads to high blood pressure. It leads to cancer for many. It leads to just overall mental health issues. And I've heard so many stories of older black women say, I had the career, like I did everything that was expected of me, and I got the man, and I still ended up leaving the situation feeling empty and unsupported. There is nothing more value than peace of mind. There's nothing more valuable than having peace of mind. If you know that you're that girl, okay, Rihanna, the moment that she sheds ASAP Rocky is the moment that she will start to look like Rihanna. And I'm not even talking again like the same girlish face that she used to have back in the day. She will still emerge as a beautiful woman. You're going to see the weight melt off. Um, and I know that it's a psychological thing because again, she's a billionaire. She can afford the best personal trainer, the best nutritionist, coach, whatever, medications if she wanted to get on Ozempic. But for someone like her with her health prognosis, nothing has been revealed, obviously. But I bet she wouldn't be a good candidate for certain things because she has to get her hormones and other things under control so as not to put her at risk when taking certain medications. But for a lot of women, unfortunately, you're not going to look good until you let go of that man. And I showed you in a previous video where women reported like the divorce effect, where, yes, obviously, like it takes an effort for you to fix yourself up, maintain yourself, look good. Don't just let yourself go and blame a man. But if you're feeling like you no longer have the motivation to take care of yourself while being in your relationship, you need to question the type of person that you're with. You need to question whether or not you are with the right person. And do you respect yourself and honor yourself enough to say, okay, something is clearly out of whack with this person. I'm constantly stressed. I'm having to carry everything. Maybe I need to make better decisions in the type of man that I'm choosing and learn how to be by yourself for some time or learn how to choose better. And for a lot of Black women, they'd much rather be single than to date outside their race. And again, we all know that men from all races can be trouble. So it's not to say like, okay, well, I'm going to be done with Black men and then go and pick up other races of women's trash. But some of y'all will clearly blatantly say like you want a thug, you want the ASAP Rocky types, but when a corporate grad who comes from a respectful family, he has a good stable career, and he's respectful, you're like, oh, he's a nerd. He doesn't have any swag. Like he's so boring. And you think that excitement is being with the ASAP Rocky types, and then you're surprised when your life is constantly filled with excitement, quote unquote, that excitement being stress and that adrenaline rush. Some of y'all, your adrenal glands are so shot that you look for the next stressor. You're constantly looking for the next stressor. Rihanna was with an Arab prince, and they had to say, you should have stayed with him. That's her choice. Maybe that Arab guy was not easy to work with. But the same way how she was able to walk away from that situation is the same way that she should be able to walk away and willing to walk away from ASAP Rocky, whether she has kids or not. Because she's not like the typical average Black woman who needs to stay with a man because in some situations, family structure, provision, taking care of the kids, like she's good. She can take care of the kids, she can share custody, like the kids will be fine. But her staying in a situation like that, she's teaching her sons that their father's behavior is normal and acceptable. And she's teaching her daughter that it is okay and expected of you to pair yourself with a man like ASAP Rocky and let him pull you through the ringer to the point that you no longer look like yourself. Her daughter's gonna look at photos of her and when she was younger and think, wow, mommy, like what happened? And you can't even say age or childbirth because look at Sierra. Sierra had like what, 4 or 5 kids now? And she's older, she's aged, and she looks the same. Like, obviously, yes, your face will naturally change and not look as girlish as it did when you were in your night when you were 19 and early 20s. Obviously, that's just genetics and anatomy. But she's in shape. She looks at peace. She looks happy because Russell Wilson isn't stressing her the fuck out and embarrassing her. And again, we don't know what people have going on behind the scenes, but at least, like, I'm not saying that anything's going on, but even if it is, at least he has a good sense to not shame and embarrass his woman in public. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the topic. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.